Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Resident Evil Code Veronica, hopefully with a bit less stuttering than I did before. Jesus Christ. I do apologize for that, I am now firmly under control, and what is this? We have the pair of the God Lugers? Take them? Well, no, because, well, you'll see in just a little bit. But we can take that steering wheel, though. But again, to kind of come into the Lugers for a little bit, take them and you're pretty much trapped in that room with, well, gas. So, yeah. Unless, of course, you want to get a little bit gassy in the assy, then, don't take the Lugers. But, Claire's smart about this sort of thing. A certain other person isn't, and excuse me, I've got a call coming this way. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Occasionally, the real-life elements get in the way of the commentary, and, that call is nothing to worry about, really. It's just people being pish. Come on, Claire. Let's blow this boig.
Yeah! Help me!
Oh no! Steve is in trouble! We gotta hurry! Come on, Claire! Let's get back to the... Actually, what is that room called? Is it, the rec room? The replica room? The cinema room? I really have no idea what that place is. Basically, let's get back to the place with the thing where Alfred's house and TV is. But, yeah, this is also a bit of a puzzle where basically you, need to save Steve. I don't know if this is timed or not, I've never actually lost this because I pretty much know the combination by heart. But, basically you get this message saying that, Steve is suffering? And, basically you match the two pairs of guns and, well, he's free to go. So, enjoy the cutscene, dudes and dudettes, and, take a drink of the Pepsi.
That was too close. But I found something, thanks to you. Looks cool, huh?
Oh, I need those. Give them to me.
You gotta be kidding. I found it, and I'm keeping it. Fine. Let's make a deal. I'll trade you for something fully automatic. See you around, Claire. Adios.
Hey, wait! Steve!
Steve, you immature little dickhead, is probably what Claire's thinking right about now. It is important to note, however, that Steve is 17 years old and, well, he's kind of immature, which is an intentional part of his character, but at the same time is also one of the reasons why people tend to dislike him, because he makes very rash, impulsive decisions that, again, is pretty much apropos for a 17-year-old. Can you really blame him? The answer is yes.
Redfield! How dare you interfere with my operation?
What are you talking about?
You let yourself be captured so you can lead your people to this base!
I have no idea what you're babbling about.
You don't fool me! I am Alfred Ashford, commander of this base.
Oh? You must be one of Umbrella's lower-level officers if you're in command of a backwater base like this one.
How dare you! The Ashford family is among the world's first and finest. My grandfather is one of the original founders of Umbrella, Inc. Now tell me, why have you attacked this installation?
Attacked?
Shortly after you arrived, my base was attacked. You must have informed your people of its location.
I still don't follow you. I really don't know anything about that.
Unacceptable! How can you deny it? My base has been destroyed. And thanks to you, the experimental T-virus was released, creating countless zombies and monsters. Tell me, who do you work for? Who sent you? Have it your way, then. You're just a rat in a cage anyway. I'll be sure to keep you entertained before I dispose of you.
I gotta look up who Alfred's voice actor is, because this man is a loin of fucking pork. But yes, this is pretty much our introduction to Alfred Ashford good and proper. The prissiest little prissy bitch you'll ever meet in your life, and by God, yeah, as you can as Claire's chiding remarks had pretty much implied, yeah, Umbrella's pretty much stuck him on a backwater backwater plant, and well, he's pretty much the runt of the litter, so to speak. His family legacy, his power over Umbrella, is pretty much crumbling around him, so yeah, it's kinda no wonder things went to hell quite easily. But alas, he is the true heir to the Ashford family, or is he? But again, as for what happened to Alexia, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but in the meantime, we've got places to explore, things to see, and of course zombies to kill. It's fun. Now again, with the little, very archaic-looking sea captains, the wheel mateys! Basically, we're pretty much using that to get access to more of the facility. In this case, the airport. Or airstrip? Whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's just another area that's pretty much more, Disc 1 endgame territory, but again, you'll see when we get there. But in any case, since we have a bit of a lengthy commute upon us, I think it's about time for some more trivia! And of course this actually relates to the, the titular antagonist of the game. Particularly with Alfred and God fucking damn it, stupid alliteration fucking shit. Again, basically, Alfred and Alexia Ashford, because they were originally going to be called Hilbert and Hilda Kruger, and, well, in slightly skeevier territory, they were actually going to be neo-Nazis descended from an AWOL Wehrmacht officer, if that's the right turn of phrase. I hope a certain friend of mine will correct me on that if I'm wrong, but, yeah, basically, their father was, well, a member of the Nazis who fled from World War II, and again, I guess maybe if the finalized backstory was anything to go by, I guess they would have ended up establishing ties with Umbrella, and, well, yeah, I think you can see why this idea was cut. Primarily it was down to the fact that, well, again, Japan, which is already a little bit skeevy when you consider your history, and also Capcom worrying about the game's sales in Europe, which definitely would have been a big concern, but by that same volition, and as I did mention, I think in the previous part, yeah, with a lot of the architectural designs, like, you know, the very concentration camp-looking Rockfort prison, and of course the, you know, the tiger tank that you saw in Ashford's office, yeah, a lot of that influence does still somewhat remain, at the very least on Rockfort Island. But apart from that, yeah, kind of interesting, would have been intriguing to see how it would have played into the game's factors. I suppose not much would have really changed, but again, I suppose for the sake of sort of smoothing it over, they basically changed their nationality to, well, British, because go fucking figure. And, yeah, that's basically how we got the Ashford family that helped to establish Umbrella Inc. And again, this is pretty much what Code Veronica is, well, getting to brass tacks to establish, really. It doesn't really delve into Umbrella's origins that much, but rather the Ashford family itself. I mean, much in the same vein as Resident Evil 0 delving into, well, James Marcus, and of course, I think, as Resident Evil 4 was originally going to tackle back when it was Tony Redgrave's game, with the, well, Oswald Spencer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, basically tackling the families, but, of course, history didn't quite pan out that way. At least not until Resident Evil 5, I think. It has been so fucking long since I played Resident Evil 5, I really should give it another go-around, but, whatever, task at hand. This is pretty much the airstrip. Again, if you walk around a little bit, you'll see some, baggage and shit lying around, and, well, basically, we're not going to be doing anything here until the endgame. Again, to also talk about a few things that we picked up along the way. Bowgun bolts. Yeah, much in the same vein as Resident Evil 2, the bowgun makes its return, and, again, while much weaker than the handgun, it is a lot more plentiful in terms of ammo, so, yeah, if you're looking for regular zombie busters and, Actually, no, I wouldn't really recommend using it against the zombie dogs. Again, like, I mean, if you're good with a knife, I recommend using the knife against zombie dogs. Well, bowgun bolts against the regular zombies. And of course, if you don't want to deal with the bullshit that is the bats, then use the lighter. But in the meantime, we got items to collect and, well, things to do. And of course, we get a nice overview of our escape route. Which is also pretty much the plan that Steve mentioned all the way at the beginning of his tenure as our erstwhile companion. In any case, yeah, I've got more trivia, I think. At least I hope so. Or at least not something that I can... Oh, it seems I can't. Otherwise, or at least not stuff that isn't spoilery shit, so, yeah, let's talk about some no-shit trivia. Devil May Cry was bundled with a PS2 version of Code Veronica X, I believe. That is to say, the demo version of it. I haven't actually played that, but... And I don't think it's in the HD re-release of Code Veronica X either, but... I don't know, it would be interesting. Unless it's unlockable via code, in which case I should probably try that, but... Yeah, in any case... Yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote in that. Well, I suppose another thing to also point out is that, while Resident Evil Code Veronica is a little bit rough around the edges, most noticeably in terms of the turning animation, like, I mean, unlike other Resident Evil games where, like, I mean, the characters would at least, like, show their legs moving to indicate a turning animation, Claire pretty much rotates like she's, like, standing on a platform that's just spinning around, which, again, is quite shitey, but I get the impression that, depending on the development cycle or what team members were being shifted around divisions of Capcom, that, yeah, Code Veronica might have been a bit snubbed in terms of manpower, which leads me into the trivia that I was trying to talk about to begin with, in that quite a bit of the game's, at least in terms of its technical specifications, was actually aided by Sega's technical staff, so yeah, this is pretty much a collaboration between Capcom and Sega for this game, so... I mean, it does show on a few aspects, because, I mean, while Resident Evil 3 was definitely mechanically refined in terms of the classics, Code Veronica, I will still say, is a little bit more ambitious in what it tries to do, and, I don't know, I just kind of appreciate it for that. But, I mean, apart from that, yeah, this is also another example of the game, I guess also taking a bit more influence from Resident Evil 3 in the sense that they have those little zombie hordes try and maul you. I mean, I guess the implication is that you either just barrel through hell, get the item that you need to get and get out, or just waste your bullets trying to take everyone down, so pick your poison. And I did also mention the bowgun bolts basically being useful as, well, regular enemy fodder busters in regards to anything else. And again, that is definitely true, but I also would recommend that you at least save 20 to 30 bowgun bolts, because there's a certain compound that you can pick up later on that does make your bowgun bolts a lot more potent, and it comes in really handy with a certain boss fight that is, well, the bane of my existence until I figured out how to beat him. So that's pretty much all I have to say on that. But yeah, to talk about this area a little bit more, again, the other door that you could take, it basically leads off to, well, the airplane that you're seeing right now. But again, you can't access it without Navy-proof seals, which again is pretty much this game's equivalent to the, well, the emblems from Resident Evil 1, which you needed to use to access more of the mansion, so... Again, it's pretty much our Act 1, find X amount of items to get the fuck out, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But again, like, I mean, unlike Resident Evil 1 or, you know, the police station of Resident Evil 2, you're not really confined to a lot of small locations for long, so while expansive and, you know, giving you more lengthy commutes, I will still say that Code Veronica does a lot more to diversify the amount of environments that you're traveling through, so, again, while commuting might be seen as a little bit, well, boring if you're one for wanting more, you know, zombie tense action and all that sort of shit, again, you are still seeing a lot more environments to give you a bit more bang for your buck, so, again, you have a lot more visual variety and a little bit more spice to really make your journey a little bit more, well, dynamic, really. And, like, I mean, combine that with the basic overall controls being as refined as they ever were, you know, the dynamic cameras that, you know, pan and zoom over the area, giving you a much greater degree of vision over the areas than you would have ever had in the PS1 games, and, I don't know, like, I mean, it's just something so... I mean, it's rough around the edges, but also refined, and I don't know, it just makes Code Veronica a very comfy game. I have no idea why I'm doing that stupid accent. It's something I revert to. By the way, look at those Dreamcast-looking water effects. They look quite nice, but at the same time the frame rate is incredibly choppy on them. Which is pretty much a standard for most Dreamcast games, actually. Especially Sonic Adventure, if you look at the water effects in that, because, Jesus! Well, I mean, I do say choppy, but at the same time, it's at least a little bit more realistically rendered than, Silent Hill 2, because, I mean, as much as I love that game, I'll never let the game live down those fucking water effects when you're pretty much row your boat gently across the stream, merrily, 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 merrily. Merry as a dream, because she died. You know, James Sunderland has to deal with his dead wife. Whatever. But anyway, more saving, more loading, and, yeah, to kind of, preface this, as much as I love the save room theme, in order to cut down on the amount of tedium slash stuff that isn't really of too importance, I'm pretty much going to be cutting down on a lot of the, item management. The game, for the sake of expedience. Because, like, I mean, really all you're missing here is just, swapping out specific items you need. You know, whatever, ammunition, healing items, stuff like that, which, I mean, it is part of the game, but at the same time, it's, boring to commentate over, so that's pretty much the small mercy. But in the meantime, however, we've got greener pastures. Well, greener in retrospective terms. Basically, it's just more grey brown, grey brown, grey brown. Basically, what I mean is the training facility. The military training facility, which, to kind of spoil things, that you do kind of learn in a bit of a side document a bit later, is actually the same training facility where the Umbrella Operative Hunk trained at. So, yeah, this is... I guess maybe, what the Ashford family was eventually relegated to, at least in terms of the Umbrella hierarchy, was, well, grunt work and training the troops, which, again, kind of makes, like, the original outline for, you know, Hilda and Hilbert Kruger a little bit more apropos, because it seems like they were probably going to focus more on the combat side of things, or at least in terms of, you know, what sort of bio weapons would have been prepared, you know, what sort of Umbrella operatives would have been going up against Jill Valentine and Chris, which again does kind of make Chris's kidnapping in the original draft a little bit more appropriate. So again, when I think about it in that sense, it does actually kind of make this... It does kind of make me wonder what an earlier version of Code Veronica would have looked like. I mean, I can't imagine they would have put, you know, concept art to, you know, in-game stuff or game code or anything, but I think it would have been interesting to have at least seen what that version of the game would have been like. Oh, by the way, this is the... Oh shit, I forgot what this thing's name is, but it's pretty much the equivalent to the Gravedigger from Resident Evil 3. Don't bother wasting your ammunition on it, it's... Again, you don't have to fight it until you do, but that's not for a long way off. I mean, it pretty much just rises up from the sand. It'll basically go up and go boo, but again, you can quite easily outrun it, so, just do that. But in the meantime, however, this is the training facility. Not really too much you can do with it, although be sure to go up these stairs, go into the next room, and that's pretty much where you find the bowgun. Word of advice, however, get the bowgun right now, because if you don't, you won't be getting it for a very long time, and considering the amount of bowgun bolts you get, yeah, it's quite useful at this point in the game as a zombie buster, and guess what silly dumbass didn't get the bowgun on his first playthrough? It was me, Solidus-Skully. But, yeah, if I could kind of admit a few stories here. When it came to Code Veronica on my first playthrough, I was fresh off Resident Evil 2 and 3. Yeah, this game kicked my ass for not really being as prepared as I should have been. I mean, it is also important to note that, again, I did pick up this document and activated the cutscene, which, again, shame on me for not really noticing the bowgun until it was too late, but, yeah. So, on that embarrassing note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and next time on the Resident Evil Code Veronica commentary, well, you're going to be seeing a cutscene which details, what happens when you decide to work for Umbrella. You might get a lot of good cash for it, but the health benefits suck!